everybody, my name is Luke Mar and this is Hotline Mode, and today on Hotline Mode we are coming to you with the 2022 BET Awards Red Carpet Roast and Review. Now, I know my place. I know I should not probably discuss the BET Awards, but at the same time, there were a lot of really cool looks that I want to discuss. I think it's very fashion forward event, everybody pretty much turned out, and there were some looks that I just think need to be discussed. So I'm gonna look through, have a discussion, have a conversation. You know what I mean? Just a little. First up, we have Bia, and she is wearing Jean Paul Gaultier Haute Couture. Now, this was a collection that was done by Sakai, which is also done by Chitose Abe, the Japanese designer. Here, we can actually see that it's pretty much a trench coat style that has been turned into a full sort of bodysuit bustier. We can see that there is quite a heavy amount of boning with a very sort of seamed, ribbed bust area, which is very sort of reminiscent of the iconic sort of bustier that Madonna wore. Bullet bra, referencing all that sort of stuff. But we can see with the buttons and the belt that it's also sort of very much so taking on a trench coat sort of feeling. And then we can also see that there's sort of like a trench coat falling away, almost creating like a faux skirt that's not really a skirt, but it's like kind of a skirt, but it's not really. You see what's going on there. From the runway, there was a sort of tattooed bodysuit, which I think here makes sense. The bodysuit is very, very light beige, very white skin tone. So I think on Bia, it wouldn't have had the same sort of color effect, which I think for Gaultier is really a thing of going forward. If they are going to do these tattooed bodysuits and catsuits, they should just work on some R&D, research and development, in a fabric that can sit on a bunch of different skin tones, and rather than it sort of matching the color of the skin tone, it rather just blends into the skin tone, which just means you have to get a really, 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 really light sort of fabric, which is possible and doable. Look at Mugler, Casey Cadwallader. He knows what he's doing. I think that honestly, even without the bodysuit, I think it looks great. I think it's very much so Chitose Abe Sakai deconstruction. You're essentially taking a trench coat, which is a coat, turning it into a full bustier and skirt instead of it just being a trench coat. So honestly, I like the look. I think it's smart. Do I maybe wish we had done the boot with it instead of the shoe? Yeah, but at least with the shoe, it's black. It correlates to the buttons. I think it's a nice look. I appreciate it. Love to see it. There was not a lot of this Sakai Jean Paul Gaultier collection out and about on red carpet, so shout out to Bia. Next up, we have Billy Porter wearing Rick Owens Fall 2022. I love this. I think this is great. I think this is the Billy Porter that I know and that I love and that I expect. It's this very heightened level of fashion. It's a little bit campy, a little bit almost costumey, but still very fashionable. So essentially we have these very sharp sort of almost like broken shoulders. They're so high, they're so rigid, they're so dislocated looking. And it's fantastic. The other great part about it is this, I believe, top and skirt, tunic top, I would say here, and skirt is a knit. So we have a bell sort of sleeve going on. If we zoom in close, we can actually see that it's a knit put all together. It is a sort of tunic length. It's longer than one would say a shirt. So it sort of comes to right above the knee. And then we have from underneath, there's a long sort of, I would say, skirt that comes out, is very fitted towards the ankle area, and then it sort of starts to flare out, and there's a train, and also we're wearing the Kiss boots in a matching look and color. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I think Billy is going for it. It is very much so what he does on the red carpet, which is kooky and crazy and over the top, but it's also very fashionable, very chic. I think Rick Owens is a great brand for that. I know with Rick Owens, at least from years ago, if you pull a Rick Owens look, you have to wear full Rick Owens. You can't just be putting anything and everything on the look. It is full look policy. And I love that Billy went for it. I love that he just did it all. I think the silhouette is great. I think it's very fashion forward. I also think the fact that it's a knit on the red carpet paired with a Kiss boot, it's still keeping to Billy's sort of gender bending ideas, but at the same time, it's chic. It's not costumey. It's fashion, runway, avant-garde, chic, cool, eleganza, extravaganza, and that's what we want. That's what we need. Next up, we have Chloe Bailey. She's wearing Nicolas Jebran. Now, essentially, this is a gown with a one sleeve situation. The neckline is super intriguing. Essentially, it's sort of a bunch of squiggles that sort of come in and out. They cover the breast. It's actually really beautiful. I think it's a cool take on the neckline. It's liquid. It's almost like it's oozing. It's like a paint sort of drip. And then it's a fitted gown. It fits very, very well. And the sequins that are on the sort of drips and drag abs sort of flow down, and then they sort of start to break away around like the mid section, and then sort of still cover the hips and the thighs, and then sort of as we get to the bottom of the dress, it really dissipates away. I don't think it's a bad look at all. I think it's an intriguing take on a fitted black gown that looks very nice. I think the neckline is really, really fantastic. I also think the fact that you have little drips coming off of the sleeve helps sort of bring the sleeve into the rest of the look. And at the same time, I think if you had had multiple sleeves, it wouldn't have had the same effect on the other side. So I think this is a nice take on asymmetry. I think it works. The fact that it's just really a focus on black and the sequins and this sort of dripping and squiggly vine-like neckline is well done. This is the focus. That's the focus. That's what we're going for. That's what we're trying to achieve. That's what we're trying to showcase. And that's all. And it works. This is it. You know what I mean? Intriguing element. Everything else, nice fitted background. It's not hard. Next up, we have Kayla Ray, and she's wearing Alexander Wang. It's kind of like a Dolce situation, like, you know, besides the fee that she probably got paid, like, why? But essentially, it's a denim jacket with a white shirt and some sort of knit sleeve, and then a mini skirt in denim and a denim thigh-high boot. And I just say, Diesel. There's your answer. No need. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Cynthia Arrivo, and she's wearing Louis Vuitton. Now, this is a look from Resort 2023. Now, the look on the runway obviously has this large copper jacket placed over it, but it seems like Cynthia has sort of taken it and just done a little bit of a stripping of that element, and it's just this sort of boxy, big, large printed top, and then a sort of simple little circle skirt with a black large grommeted belt, and then the shoes. Love the shoes. Love a platform. Looks great. Looks fun. But also it like keeps the energy of the copper jacket from earlier, and also it's not a flat, so that's good. The runway, it's a flat, and it's like fine, but not that fine. Essentially, the look is made up of a print that is ray print, you know, and that you can tell something like a heat vision kind of thing. So it's the red. It's also, I believe, meant to sort of be a print of the Salk Institute, which is where the Resort 2023 Louis Vuitton collection was held. I also like the fact that the top, even though it's square, it has a sort of little gathered neckline. It looks almost like a little snood kind of vibe to it. I think it's fun. I think it sort of adds a little bit of intrigue and a little bit of sort of gathering, referencing to the skirt, but at the same time, like the rest of the top is very boxy, very Louis Vuitton, very Nicolas, you know, Balenciaga, geometric, 1960s space agey futuristic vibes. Honestly, I think it's a nice look. I'm not obsessed. Oh my god, it's not the best look in the entire world, but like it has intriguing elements. I could also see people being like, it's ugly as sin. And I'd say subjectively, yeah, I get it. Objectively, it's intriguing, I would say. But I appreciate that Cynthia always goes for it. That I will give her 100% credit for. Next up, we have Daniel Kaluuya. He is wearing Alexander McQueen. Now, this is a look, I believe, from a menswear collection of Alexander McQueen's. I couldn't find the actual picture of the look, but I could find a picture of the spring 2022 Alexander McQueen runway, and it has the same tie-dye motif, so you can see they're correlated. Essentially, it's a white double-breasted suit that obviously has like a blue sort of tie-dye print. It almost looks like it's splotching of tie-dye. And then we have a pant that is very blue, and then there are little elements of white throughout, and then a little sneaker situation. I think they're Air Force Ones. I don't think those are Alexander McQueen sneakers because they don't look like the Alexander McQueen sneakers. So there's that. But Daniel Kaluuya is British, so wearing a British brand, it makes sense. I understand it. I think the fit is okay. I'm not like obsessed with it. I think the print is, again, like it's okay. I appreciate that we went for like an intriguing motif on a suit, but I'm not like, oh my god, wow, either. Next up, we have Giveon, and I don't know who he's wearing because I don't believe this is Chanel. The look is made up of a black, what I believe, denim jacket. It has a lot of pyramid studs on it, so the collar actually has pyramid studs. Maybe they are pyramid studs. I can't see because when I zoom in, it's not. It's a little bit blurry. Chatout.web page. If you know the struggle, you know the struggle. I think it's an intriguing jacket. I mean, like, it's nothing to write home about, but like, okay. And then we're pairing it with a burnt orange leather pant. They're not like fitted. They're like a nice sort of classic straight fit. They pool, I would say, on the shoe pretty well. I also think with the leather, you're always gonna have that crinkle and that wrinkle. It's just how the fabric works. So I'm not like taking points away for that. And then a black shoe, black loafer of sorts as a square toe. I think it, weirdly enough, kind of somewhat works. I don't love it. I don't think it's like the most exciting, interesting, most put together Giveon look that I've seen by a long shot. I think the pant and the shoe nice, appreciate. Would have loved if there was like a matching leather top. Because also I feel like with Giveon, he does a lot of sort of matchy moments, and I think that works. The jacket with the denim and then the leather and the shoe, I just don't think the jacket is up to snuff with the rest of the look. That's my big issue, my big problem. Next up we have Jack Harlow. He is wearing, honestly I'm not sure, I presume that his pants and shoes are maybe like Givenchy, but the shirt has Lil Nas X on it, and I believe that this is a reference to the fact that Lil Nas X was either not invited to the BET Awards or he didn't feel welcome to go to the BET Awards, something along those lines, which I think has been brewing online for a few days before the BET Awards. So the thing that I understand is that Jack Harlow got nominated for an award at the BET Awards, but Lil Nas X didn't. Jack got nominated for the song Industry Baby, I believe. But Industry Baby is a Lil Nas X song that Jack Harlow was featured on. So that is the thing. Lil Nas X was upset. Jack Harlow still obviously went to the award because he was nominated. Wore this Lil Nas X shirt, I would say an homage and sort of protest to the fact that Lil Nas X did not get a nomination. A little jab at the BET Awards there. Overall, like, the look is not super chic, super elegant whatsoever, but also I think it's not really meant to be. I think it's more meant to be like a nod to Lil Nas X. So from that standpoint, a little bit of fashion with a mission, intention. That's not about fashion. Next up we have Janelle Monae, and they are wearing Roberto Cavalli. Now, honestly, I think this is a fantastic look. Let's discuss. So first up, we have a black velvet bandeau. It sort of wraps around. It's really simple, but that's not really like the look aspect. You know what I mean? Like, it's a background feature. Rather, this strapped harness, which we can see sort of comes down around the neck, has a little sort of shoulder strap feeling to it, and then sort of comes and collects underneath that little bandeau and over top of it at the same time, like it's below, but it's over top. It has hooks, and it creates this beautiful draped skirt effect because the hooks are connected to the skirt, and then the skirt sort of flows out. It's really, really beautiful. I think it's a fantastic look. Janelle Monae is a performer. They know what they are doing. They know that in order to like make a look work, you have to give it a little performance. If you have a skirt like this, you have to showcase it, and I think they're doing a very, very good job. I think that it's moving, it's grooving. It's about letting the clothing be a prop. And I think Janelle Monae knows that very, 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 very well. To get into the nitty-gritty of the look, though, the whole collection was based on, I believe, BDSM culture and styles and feelings, and the attire that sort of comes with BDSM community. So that's why we have this leather strap. There is a sort of element of like beauty being brought into it in that little black leather rose. It's a little bit chic. You know, the rose is beautiful, but it also has thorns. I feel like that's a smart sort of way of thinking about it. And at the same time, the skirt is fantastic. Like, it is a fantastic skirt. The way that it fans out, the way that you can see that little bit of texturization in it is stunning. And then they are just wearing a little sort of black thong situation going on because, again, like, it's a beautiful look. They know what they're doing. It looks amazing. They're dedicated to the ensemble, and it's stunning. And the way that she's fanned it out, it flows, it's beautiful, it has wind, it has movement, it's stunning. It's really, really a gorgeous look. Very proud of Janelle Monae for wearing it. And I think also Janelle gave a speech at the BET Awards and essentially said, "F you" to the Supreme Court for overturning Roe v. Wade, which I stand by wholeheartedly. Check the links in the description box below to donate to abortion funds because people need to be safe in order to get literally their own bodily autonomy, and no random man or woman should be telling people what to do because of their own personal beliefs. It's not your body. It's not your choice. Get over it. Fashion is political. Always has been. Always will be. 50 years ago, somebody would have been like, a harlot would only wear this outfit. Nowadays, we're like, okay, I love that. Love that people are like happy in themselves. In reality, I think Janelle Monae has a very strong reason, I would say, behind the look, and I think that it coincides with her feelings on the look. The other thing that I think is really, really important is Janelle Monae, when you look at them on the red carpet, it's usually a look that is black, but also white. There's elements of black and white always sort of coinciding in their look. It's always a part of, I would say, even like early on career-wise, there was that element of it. So I'm intrigued by the fact that there is no white in this look. Yes, you could maybe say that, oh, the silver sort of hooks are the white elements, but it's silver, so it's not really. And I wonder what that means, what that sort of indicates, what that is showcasing for Janelle. So overall, stunning look, fantastic. I think has a much deeper meaning than we just see on the surface level. And also they know how to sell the garment, as we would say, which is very important. Next up, we have Kanye West. He appeared, I believe, unknowingly to a lot of people at the BET Awards to give a speech to Sean Diddy Combs, who was receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award. Now he's wearing a intriguing look. It's very sort of recent Kanye. It's big sort of baggy pants, a long t-shirt, which to me again sort of references that like Givenchy long shirt era that he helped very much so, or was pretty much the maestro of that movement in fashion. And if he wasn't the one that sort of put it on the runway, he was the one that took it from the runway and then put it on himself, and then everybody else was like, oh, and then foamed at the mouth over it. We have the long shirt, we have the big baggy pants, instead of the usual, or at least like the historically very skinny pants. And then those big boots, the big sort of like clown boots, which honestly on Kanye, I appreciate. He's always makes an intriguing shoe. I'm a fan in that regard. I do think Kanye is a very good fashion designer. And if I don't think he's like a great technical fashion designer, I think he's great at choosing talent to help him make good things, to help him seem like a technically strong fashion designer. And then the thing that was most intriguing, I would say, is this Hood by Air jacket. Hood by Air is an iconic brand. We love it. Super stands. It's a black leather, looks like a bomber jacket of sorts, but it has a hood on it, and then embroidered across the front is a Hood by Air symbol. Hood by Air is brand by Shane Oliver, who essentially sort of came up, I would believe, in the era of like Ben Trill, Virgil Abloh, A$AP Rocky, New York sort of downtown scene. Honestly, was New York's answer to designers like John Galliano and Alexander. Made super intriguing, exciting, memorable clothes and collections. He was technically very strong for somebody that I don't believe finished FIT. He knew what he was doing. He also knew that the bread and butter of the brand was these really beautiful t-shirts that were super intriguing, super cool. They sold to sort of more of like a hype beast crowd. But at the same time, the runway collections were beautiful, solid, and very like queer takes on deconstruction. He really is like an amazing designer, and he's back after a hiatus, which is very sad. Bring back the Hood by Air by Forfex boots, because mine are broken and I need new ones. Shane, if you're watching, please. I'm happy to see that Hood by Air is back, and I'm also happy to see that Kanye is like supporting it, because Kanye holds quite a lot of power in the fashion sphere amongst, I would say, like a menswear crew. I think the jacket is cool. I think it looks really, really nice. I think it's intriguing. It's a beautiful leather jacket. And yes, does it say Hood by Air over it? Yeah, sure. But like I'm wearing a Theophilio shirt that says Theophilio with crystals. So to each their own. Next up, we have Keke Palmer. She is wearing Conner Ives. Now, this is from the Spring 2022 collection. Essentially, it's a halter style dress that is made up of a bunch of different silk scarves, which is very much so a Conner Ives staple. So we can see here at sort of the bust area and the halter element, and then it sort of comes towards like the waist. It's a, I would say, like a vintage rope and chain and braided gold silk scarf, and then we can see there's a floral element that falls underneath, and then there's another sort of geometric-y motif in brown with white elements, and then we can see that there is a pleated aspect that comes and creates this long sort of train, or at least it allows, because of these pleats, it allows the dress to sort of have a stretch sort of falling out feeling to it without being so strict, because those silk scarves are going to be rather tight, and so they wouldn't provide that sort of stretch that we can see. And if we look at the runway image, or at least the lookbook image, we can see the model stretching those pleats, and I think that's the element of Conner Ives that's smart, is it's a lot of deconstructed pieces that are sort of reconstructed, but it's done in a very sort of fun and frisky way. Also, I think the fact that it has a beautiful sort of train that falls out, it's all upcycled, it's all sustainable, it's very smart, it's very chic. Do I wish that Keke had maybe worn the boot? Yeah. Of course. But I don't think the shoes are that bad. I think they're silver. They play off of the necklace. I think that's okay. I also think she just looks stunning in a little upcycled, sustainable style. So I'm happy to see Conner Ives making his way on the celebrity circuit. He really is. Whoever is his PR, you're doing a very good job. Next up, we have Lena Waithe, and she is wearing Casablanca, which is a French brand. It's a menswear brand specifically, although I believe it does do women's wear, but pretty positive it's primarily a menswear brand. I love this look. I think it's fantastic. I really, really, truly do. And I think first things first, the suit in and of itself, the blue suit, great. I think the boxier fit is really, really nice. I think it works. I think the wide leg pant is also really nice. I think it works. I think it's light and airy. The color is great for the summer and the heat and the hot. But what I think is really, really stunning are these lapels. Casablanca is sort of like a funky brand. And I think the fact that you have these light minty border trims and then a pink, and the fact that the lapels are squiggled is really cool. I think it's really intriguing. I think it takes on lapels and sort of does something much, much funner, much more modern, much more playful and whimsical. I think it's done. I also think that this is from the spring 2022 Casablanca menswear collection. So I like the fact that Lena is taking from menswear elements, which I think she does normally, but it's done really, really well here. The little shirt underneath I think is great. It sort of coincides with the squiggle motif going on. I think it's cool. Also, if we zoom in on that lapel, I just saw it, that pink is a pink buy. Now, that's why you can see that ribbing in there. Stunning, beautiful, cool, amazing detail. I love to see it. Think it's fantastic. The one thing I don't love, the shoes. We could have used like a funkier shoe, but that's my only issue. Everything else, fantastic look. Very proud. Lena Waithe. Next up, we have Lizzo, and she is wearing Gucci. Now, this is a custom look from Gucci, but I'm pretty positive that it is based on a look from the spring 2022 collection. Now, it's a blue lurex dress that is reflective and stunning and gorgeous. It has all these elements of draping. It sort of comes down. There's a plunging neckline. At the waist, there's this asymmetrical sort of drape, and then we can sort of see a long skirt flows out. There's a nice sort of thigh slit, and then we have these big, beautiful sleeves. They're like gigantic bell sleeves, and they are trimmed in black faux feathers because Gucci doesn't use real feathers, I'm pretty positive. Honestly, I think it's fantastic. I think it's amazing. I think it's so cool. I also think it's a great example of when navy blue and black can be used effectively together. Honestly, I think this is probably the most glamorous Lizzo has ever looked. I'm not saying that she has like a bad track record. I don't think she does. But she's topped herself. I think that we've hit, like, as of the Lizzo red carpet fashion history, we're at our peak. You can't see it because it's up here. I think the look is so elegant. I think it's so chic. I love the fact that it differentiates from the usual looks on the runway, which are very, very vertical in their gathering and draping. But I think the fact that it's actually at the waist is intriguing. I think it's different. It's really not offensive, I wouldn't say. Like, I think sometimes elements like that can really throw off a look, but I don't think it does. I think it keeps the same sort of pace of gathering as the rest of the look when it's going vertically down. It's just being done across the side. Honestly, I think it's a great look. Very proud of Lizzo. I'll say it now. Best dressed. Star. Next up, we have Marsai Martin. She's wearing Dolce & Gabbana. It's a silver chainmail dress, I would presume. And then it has a sort of asymmetrical fringe that comes down. It's, you know, a little cocktail dress. Fits her phenomenally, but it's Dolce, so besides that, don't care. Next up is Mary J. Blige. She's wearing Tony Ward couture, so it's essentially a collar that's gathered, I presume. I don't think it's ruched. I think it's gathered. But she is wearing a one-sleeve crop top that is ruched, and then we've put a little silver crystal chain to sort of emulate a strap over the ruching element, but we can see that it's ruched because obviously like the fabric is pulling away from that element. There's a little flip over, and then we have the sort of sleeve. Then we have a high-waisted skirt that's also ruched, and what we've done is we've again put that sort of crystal over the ruching, and then there's a large sort of slit that showcases leg. And the shoes, I think they do a pretty okay job of keeping up with what's going on the arm bracelet situation. Not my favorite look for Mary J. Blige. I feel like she deserves a lot better. 100%. All around, always. I don't think the peeps are giving Mary J. Blige the looks that she deserves, and that's my problem, that's my issue, that's my annoyance. Because Julianne Moore, you never see her looking bad. Kate Blanchett, never see her looking crazy on the red carpet. So I want the same for Mary J. Blige. I want her to have the absolute pulling access that she deserves. I want her having the girls making custom looks. Make it happen, people. Next up, we have Rick Ross. He's wearing Louis Vuitton, I believe. I believe that because of the sneakers, they are Virgil Abloh sort of design styles that have little purple elements and little silver crystals on them, and they say the LV on the tongue. And then what I like about the jeans, I think they're fun because it looks like, at least I believe they're Louis Vuitton, because it looks like there's that sort of element of the bib harness situation in black over his left leg, and then it's just sort of a simple jean, and then a blue shirt, which honestly to me like looks very Vuitton-y blue. I don't love it. I don't, but I get it. I also feel like it's a little like Virgil Abloh sort of nod, in my opinion, which appreciate. I want better for Rick Ross. I will say. I'll say it. I want better. I also think it's a good point to raise in terms of like menswear. There is not a sort of non-sample size movement in the menswear world, which I think there should be. We've now started to get models that are not a size 0 or size 2 on the runway in women's wear, but we have not achieved that in menswear. So that needs to start happening, because also it's like Rick Ross should have a nice fitted moment. It should fit better. Next up, we have Saucy Santana, and he is wearing Area. Now, this is from the fall 2022 Area collection. Now, it's essentially a houndstooth jacket dress. It's like a blazer dress. But essentially, it's been padded out, so it sort of nips in at the waist and then sort of has a padded sort of hip element. It's done in a bright green and bright yellow spiral, so it's houndstooth motif, but just done a little bit less in the normal colors you would think of, like brown and black or white. It's unboring houndstooth, which we like to see. I think it fits. I also think it's like a perfect look for Santana to wear. And then there is a little knee-high feather boot that is in green and then sort of ombres into yellow at the bottom. It's definitely ridiculous. It's definitely over the top. It's definitely kooky and crazy, but like, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, we're wearing full look. We have no problem sort of doing a fashion moment. Like, the boots are coming back, you know, furry boots. It's a thing. It's happening. I would say, honestly, if we put like a black boot on the look, I think it would probably look a little bit like less over the top for people, but I like a full look moment, you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate it. I think also you want to go for it. You want to do the most. You want to do a lot. It's a red carpet. That's what it's there for. Honestly, I appreciate it. I'm a fan. I'm a stan. Go for it. Next up is Sean Diddy Combs, and he is wearing, honestly, I don't know. I personally think it's Louis Vuitton, but I'm not sure. I couldn't ID it. I tried to like find it in recent collections, but I couldn't. But essentially, it is a pink suit, a pink sort of long blazer, although it's like asymmetrical, the blazer. It sort of falls down on one side a little bit longer than the other, which that's why I think it's Louis Vuitton, just saying. But there's also a pink pant with a front pleat, a little white. I believe that's a shirt. The collar, honestly, is just sort of rounded. There is no element of a flare out there. It's just sort of a simple, rounded sort of collar. It looks a little bit like a turtleneck. That's what maybe one would think, but it's actually a shirt. The only thing that I really don't love is the shoes, the patent leather shoes. I just feel like we could have done like a boot. You know what I mean? Like a little boot moment would have been great, would have been wonderful. I also just wish then if we hadn't even done the boot, we just done a white shoe so that it coincides with the shirt, because I think the black patent leather bounces off of the pink, not super duper wow. Because like the pink is a lot, the white underneath is a very bright, and then the black shoe really is like just there. Unfortunate. Next up, we have Tarji P Henson, and she is wearing Tom Ford. Now, essentially, it is a silver dress. I don't believe it's chainmail. I believe it's sequin. And essentially, it gives it that sort of silver shimmer. And then there is a singular strap that wraps around the neck. It's a Cuban chain link. So it wraps around the neck and then goes around the back. And I think that's probably how the dress is held up. That's just me, though. But I appreciate the chain link. I think it's actually very intriguing. I think it's very cool. Chain links are very expensive. I just think Tom Ford wise, like, probably better looks. Probably is the preemptive word. You know, I appreciate the column gown sort of feeling and the vibe and all of that. I just think that the dress is a little bit lackluster, even though it's made up of sequins. That's all. That's it, really. Love the chain. Think it's great. Think it's intriguing. It's just the actual dress. It's like, oh, okay. Meh. Yeah, love Taraji, obviously. But, meh. And then lastly, we have Wale, and he is wearing Louis Vuitton. This is from the Spring 2022 collection. I love this look. I think it's great. I think it's so fun. It's a little cropped jacket that has a little sort of belt loop around it. It's in this dark, nice gray. It looks like it's some sort of felty sort of fabric, so I presume it's a wool. There's a little gray shirt underneath. The belt wraps around, and then we have a little pant that has, you know, a wide leg feeling, and then we can't really see it in this photo, but there is a sort of slit that falls away and sort of creates a flared feeling. We can see it on the runway image. I love it. I think it's super fun. I think it's a cool take on tailoring. I think the fact that it's a cropped sort of blazer, at least in my opinion, it's a cropped blazer. It looks really nice. Love of Virgil Abloh. You know, this is from his final collection, I believe, or his second to final collection. I'm a fan. Super love it. Wale, proud. Honestly, let's talk about best and worst. I'm gonna go with best, Lizzo. Love. Oh, I'm also gonna throw like Lena Waithe in there, Janelle Monae, Billy Porter. There's a lot. For worst, worst. Mary J. Blige. I want better from Mary J. Blige. So that is the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. I'd love to hear all your opinions. And I will see you guys on the next one. So, TTYO.